Breaking news is she has caught herself in a lie on record as part of the appeals process in Virginia. And even better, in trying to make JD look guilty, she's managed to make herself look even worse. That's right. You and we're going to talk about this one today too. Buckle up because it's fun times. It is fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. By the way, I hope you are doing excellently. So if you haven't heard about this epic screw-up, got a group of organizations and so-called experts to write a legal brief for her, an amicus brief, so she could hopefully impact the appeals case in Virginia. Now, instead of helping out, accidentally catches herself in quite a few lies. I mean, this is golden too. For example, I want to read this to you. Pay attention to, because, oh man, I mean, this is not going to work out very well. In the op-ed, explained that because she had spoken out about DV, she had been ostracized and lost employment as an actress. As the Washington Post later wrote, the op-ed, quote-unquote, urged readers to support women who came forward with allegations of, I'm going to call that accosting, by taking them seriously and electing politicians who will fight for changes to laws and rules and social norms. Now, the op-ed, they say, and this is a bold-faced lie, and they're going to get caught in this here, never mention AH's former husband, JD, by name or by reference, such as, quote-unquote, former spouse, nor never stated that had been subject to a particular type of, again, accosting. Instead, other than the contested passages, the op-ed merely explained that she had been exposed to, again, accosting at a young age, and like many women, she had been harassed and, I'm going to say, SA'd by the time she was of college age. The introduction of the op-ed listed as an actress and an ambassador on women's rights at the ACLU. And then they have a footnote here saying that did not meet JD until long after she was quote-unquote college age, so this reference, it could not be about him. Now, unfortunately for it doesn't play very well at all, and she is accidentally caught on record in a bold-faced lie. Not only that, but those so-called experts, they're peddling misinformation. Why? Well, we have access to, number one, letters that went on behind the scenes. Letters between and that organization they mentioned. They talk about earlier drafts of that article. This, by the way, is evidence in the courtroom. Let's look at some of the things that they say weren't there. They never were, because it wasn't about JD, right? Well, my main concern is this paragraph. This is about an early draft. Then 2 years ago, after I got a TRO against my then husband, wait a minute, I thought they never talked about JD. I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. The day I left the courtroom and walked into packs of hundreds of photographers, I didn't have a team of bodyguards. My lawyers used their own bodies to block out space for me to walk to my car. The whole way there, I heard the press yelling the same question in one form or another. Is it true you're making all of this up? It never happened, by the way. Now, unfortunately for there are other letters too. That's right. Here's one. Hope your travel's been well. It has been such a pleasure talking to you. I tried to gather your fire and rage and really interesting analysis and shape it into an op-ed form with mentions of a few policies and a growing movement. I hope it sounds true to you. It's attached. I'm sorry for the delay in getting to you. Many lawyers have reviewed it here and tweaked the policy bits. Your lawyers should review this for the way I skirted around talking about your marriage. Interesting. Let's do one more, and there are about a half a dozen of these, by the way. Apologies for the delay, but we have needed this to pass through quite a few lawyers. First, please read Robin's notes below. and let me know your edits. Also, you should show this to your attorney, one from the long list. I want to make sure nothing was said in here that puts you in jeopardy with your NDA or non-disclosure agreement. You know, that agreement with JD. In fact, AH's own lawyers went on record with the court and actually spilled the tea about all of this. You had Eric George. I mean, he told you everything that went on. As part of this, he talked about how they knew JD, he would be litigious. He would know this was all about him, so they kept redrafting this thing, hoping that they could survive litigation. This is part of the messaging that he mentions. Quote, "Hi, AH, is there any room at all to fix the sentence we had before? I signed an agreement not to talk about my marriage, and I will not do that here. What happened to me publicly is more interesting and revealing than what happened within my marriage anyway, because it shows how institutions protect men accused of..." Yeah, that is the op-ed. That's what it contains. And these people, they are flagrantly shopping mis and disinformation at the bequest of AH, and they know it. Now, even better, AH's so-called experts, they add in lists where they think they're going to do this gotcha, gotcha, JD. We can prove that you're guilty of accosting AH. The only problem is that AH fits almost all of this criteria. I mean, for example, they have questions in here that ask, is he drunk all the time? Yeah. You know that person that was consuming 2 $500 bottles of wine a day? Are they drunk all the time? No. Can't ask that, because this is supposed to make him look bad, right? It also has questions like, does he embarrass or make fun of you in front of your friends or family? Yeah, you heard all of the recordings that included Travis, the bodyguard for JD, or how a bodyguard actually witnessed AH punch JD into the face. That's fascinating, right? Do they put down your accomplishments? You remember when JD, he got a sponsorship deal and AH came in and made fun of him, saying, this guy, he has no class. Why would they want you to be part of it? I mean, over and over again, stuff like this comes up, makes you feel like you're unable to make decisions, uses intimidation or threats to gain compliance, tells you you're a nothing without them, treats you roughly, grabs, pushes, pinches, shoves, or hits you, calls you several times a night, or shows up to make sure of where you said you would be. Yeah, calling all the way into 2018 while making an op-ed. There's a lot more to this thing too, and we will go over it in a live stream. But like I said, this catches AH in some of the bold-faced lies, puts it on record, which it's not supposed to be. Oh, it's beautiful stuff. I mean, they just keep screwing up.